Hey everybody, how you doing? Quick correction. First of all, his name is spelled Booney. Bunny. I got a Bunni. Before that, I had a Bunny. And yeah, so I gotta anyway. It's great to have you here.
Hey,
Welcome.
great to be here, Zenny. Thank you, man. Good to talk to you again.
Awesome to talk to you. Oh, and by the way, in honor of a person that I have not met, you know, in the real world, but I have connected with in the digital world, um, Damon Amendolara, uh, a reminder: you cannot build a stadium anywhere in the United States, or for that matter, in the world, without the involvement of government. The problem with the media who reported on this, who try to ignore government, including yourself, sir, is that you have done the same thing that a number of producers have done over the decades: assume that the listener has no interest in the intricacies of what it takes to make a stadium happen. A combination of politics, finance, economics, and community. If you don't understand that interplay, if you think it's too complex, admit it, have a person like myself on, but when a person like my friend Bunny tries to talk about it, don't shut him down. People who have done what you've done, producers, have done amazing damage to the American society. You kept us dumb. It's my job to undo the damage that you've done. I'm saying it just like that to you, my friend. You want to come to the show one day? We can. You've never invited me on your program because you're afraid to talk to me, because you know that I know the subject. Because I worked in government, I worked for it. I'm the first person in Oakland's history to say the Athletics needed, representing government, a new stadium. I did so in 1997. Now, enough about me, because I want to talk about my friend and his new show airing in Las Vegas.
Well, it's in Nevada. It's still the same show. Thanks.
I
Had
love
not much to
Vegas.
do
I
with
went
me,
there with
Zenny, but I appreciate it.
myself. You know.
So Locked On's owned by Techna Media Corp, who just got bought out by Nexstar. And they bought out, and I could be wrong on this, they bought out Cox Cable Channel. So what they're doing at 12:30 p.m. is Monday through Friday is from 12:30 to 1 is Locked On A's. 1 o'clock to 1:30 is Locked On Vegas Knights, and then 1:30 to 2 is Locked On Raiders. So they're just kind of, making the audience a little bit for the Nevada audience. But it's basically the same show as you'll see on the YouTube. A couple changes here and there, as far as educating as far as what's gone on in Oakland and the move for the A's, which you were so kind to come on last year and educate everybody on, or earlier this year, I want to say.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me, by the way. Yeah. Hey, tell us about, this is your 1 year anniversary. Congratulations. Yeah. Tell us about what you learned over the 1 year that you've done the Locked On A's podcasts.
It's a lot harder than I thought, I tell you that. And I think the big thing is just underestimating the audience. And
like I was talking about?
Yeah, for sure. Preparation's a big deal. And I think at the end of the day, I just tried being myself and tried learning as much about the subjects I talked about and looking at it from both perspectives. And I felt at the end of the day, I did that. And that's what I'm happy about for the year I've been doing it. The one thing I would change is probably, like I talked to you a little bit before, is tone. I think no matter what message you're trying to get across, sometimes it doesn't matter if your tone isn't in the correct spot. So that's one thing I do wish I go back and change, but I think I've gotten better at that than since I started, for sure.
I mean, I think we talked about this off camera because we were talking about a bunch of
Yeah.
things. My advice to you is, again, be yourself. I think you've done a great job, and don't try to, it's hardest to be someone else because you don't know who that is, what their motivations are for being who they are.
Sure.
But you know your own. You have some idea. Even if you don't think so, you do, And I think what I like self-servingly is that you brought me on and you didn't try to, tell my story for me. You didn't try to take out the story. You asked me questions because you had heard it from other people who had different views, which I love.
Yeah.
And you bring a place that's much needed of discussing a problem
Sure.
that's missing in the society, where people, I think, for reasons of sort of a downgrade in asking us to think honestly. And I mean that just like it sounds. And it look, I was born August 4th, 1962. I'm proudly a child of what I call now the Par Americana. And that was when America was number one. We were number one steel, automobiles, and everything. And we developed managerial, the whole idea of the management of business. The business management as a science came up when I was born, just before that. And then it had its honing and refining during the 1960s and 1970s.
Right.
And all throughout that, people forget one thing. We didn't have the internet then.
No, we didn't.
So we had to, and I don't know how old you are. I'm 63. But
yeah,
we had, how old are you? How old are you?
51.
Okay, 51. So you're in the, in there. But if you remember, well, I'll just say for me, I was a big fan of Disney World at 8 years old. And I begged to get this book. My mom got it for me, The Art of Walt Disney. It's that thick. But I had it for one reason, Bunny, because at the back of it was a section, is by Christopher Jinks, the whole book was by the back of it was by Peter Finch, I believe his name was, called Lessons of the Parks. And it was about the lessons, the architectural and urban planning lessons of Disneyland and Walt Disney World. And that's what became interested in urban planning. But within that, it talked about something called the Reedy Creek Improvement District. And I happened to find the entire legislation in a bookstore about it. I didn't buy the book, I devoured it. I read it like I was psycho, just reading it again and again and again and again, and memorized it. Why? Because it was the legislation that gave Disney World the power to be a city state. And one thing that stuck in my mind when I was 8 was that, for one thing, you could not just undo it. It was basically almost impossible to undo its power.
Sure.
Right? You would literally, the way it was designed, you would have to have a whole new law. You would have had to pay a lot of money because by the time you got there, it was nuts. All right. You basically it's like trying to undo California.
Right.
Really. And yet, okay, I say all that to say this. Here comes, fast forward, decades later, a guy named Ron DeSantis is governor, who simply because he's angry over, stupid legislation having to do with, like, he's trying to get somebody not to say gay. All right. That's how stupid it is. He says, okay, I'm going to take over Disney World. And I'm thinking, and I thought this, my first thought was, you're nuts, and then I saw this speech he did for these people called themselves conservative.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're applauding. I said, no conservative, true ideological conservative, would agree to government taking over a business.
Yeah, no question.
And I'm thinking, okay, all right, now we've gone off the deep end. This is all about power. This has nothing to do with anything that's intellectually solid. Nothing. All right. It's all blah, blah, blah. And this guy's going to wind up looking like an idiot. And guess what? Disney spent most of the next almost year, actually a year, making him look like an idiot because it was more complex than they figured out. Why? Because their ideas had nothing to do with anything, based on process, all right, or law or structure. They just cared about, well, I don't want you to say something because I don't like it. Like they're 14 years old.
Right. Yeah.
Social media has made us stupid. It's made us immature.
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
And it's seeped into every aspect of our society. All right. And that's why infrastructure is crumbling. And then you have people like Mr. Mendelera who don't want to talk about these complexities, which then what? It advances the stupidity even that much more. Yeah. We got to stop it, man. People must be forced to think, or we're going to lose our society.
Yeah, no question. No question. Just type in. Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. It's so you nailed it with the social media piece. That piece alone has just crushed everybody else because now everybody has a stage, and now you're kind of just siding with the crowd that shares your opinions without exploring outside that.
Yep. And that's the thing. So let me get to the question I have for you. What do you think the performance of the Athletics post Oakland? Because I've never really talked with you about that. Now we had a full year, right?
Yeah, as far as a team,
Yeah.
um, that's a good question. Uh, they ended up doing okay, right? They had a hell of a second half. They ended up finishing 76 and 86. They had that stretch in May where they lost 20 of 21 games. The first half was rough, man. I mean, they had a good streak. They were 20 and 16 at one point. Only one game behind the Mariners in second place. And then it just went south. And once something went south, it sure went
Yeah.
south.
Why do you think the wheels came off?
There's a lot of reasons to that. The bullpen was really bad. Starting pitching was kind of always an issue with with this team going into the year. That wasn't a surprise. And we signed a couple guys, but they were okay. So starting pitching was always an issue going into this year. Bullpen held up for the first 30, 35 games, but you kind of felt like you were on borrowed time there. You know, they were a little overachieving. But in order to deal with the lack of starting pitching in those first 30, 35 games, we really worked that bullpen. So when it came down to crunch time in those 2021 games, the bullpen got overworked like hell. They gave up every single lead at the games we were in the games, and then so forth. We got young. It's an exciting crew coming up in the next few years. That came up this year. And we had a hell of a second half, right? One of the best records in all of baseball in the second half of the league. The last month and a half, I believe we're the second best team in all of baseball. So we had some positives. Going into this offseason, the big thing I would like the A's to do is what's always been an issue, and that ownership's gotten a hit on is retaining players, right? And we could go back and forth forever on what the reason for them not retaining players. The bottom line is they have not. I want to see them sign. You have Nick Kurtz, who's going to win the Rookie of the Year. Jacob Wilson's going to finish second in Rookie of the Year. And you have Tyler Soders, who's a 22-year-old kid as well. You got a potential lockout coming in 2027, right? A new collective bargaining agreement going out. The Red Sox, they did a very smart thing. They got a player like Nick Kurtz, and what they did is they bought out his arbitration years, and they signed him through 2035. I want to see the A's do that with two of the three guys, and those three guys I mentioned. And I want them to put their posters outside of casinos in Las Vegas and market these guys to get a new fan base excited about what's coming and get this stereotype and what has been a history of this team since for 3 decades is not retaining players. I want that stereotype, that I want it gone. I want that stigma gone. And there is no other better time to do it than this off season, because again, we don't know what's happening in 2027. Players don't know what's happening in 2027 with a new collective bargaining agreement. What's that going to look like, etc. So now's
the ballpark, because the ballpark could be finished early.
Could it be finished early? It won't be ready for play in 2027 though.
But what I'm saying is that in the run up to its opening, they will gain more sponsors, sign up more sponsors, more deals. They may even get deals they didn't expect to get because others will see the reaction to it as it, gets closer to reality.
Absolutely.
And that will change the financial picture like that. Not that it's bad now.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would really like to see them do that this offseason, man. So I guess the best way to describe how I feel about the A's is cautiously optimistic, right? Cautiously optimistic. We have the best bunch of young talent in baseball. It's an exciting team. But no matter what, you can't help at what this franchise has gone through for the last 20. As a fan that's been as long as I have, you can't help think about that. You can't help think about the Matt Olsons and the Matt Chapmans and the Marcus Simeons and all that we lost. And again, we can reinvent the wheel and go through why we lost them, etc. Bottom line is they were lost. Now we have a new city, a fresh start.
Do you think the A's performance would have been better if the whole Oakland matter, let me put it this way: if Shang Tao had not tried to throw a choke chain ask of a lease saying, "Hey, pay us, 60 million."
60 million she wanted, and she wanted the rights to the athletics name,
Right.
and she wanted a guaranteed expansion franchise. I mean, she had no leverage.
No.
And that's one thing I've mentioned on many of occasions is that no one talks about that as far as them going to Sacramento. That wasn't on Fisher as far as them going down Sacramento.
No, it was on Shang.
It was on Tao. It was absolutely on Tao as far as them going to Sacramento. So, yes, I do. If there wasn't the whole heated type of deal with regard to the whole sell the team campaign, you got to remember also, though, Zenny, the sell the team campaign backfired in a sense. And I think also Major League Baseball pushed it, right? Because we give a little too much credit to, as far as power, to Commissioner Manfred. Now, he does a few rules here. Hey, pitch clock and this and that as far as the game. But when it comes down to the nitty gritty, he's getting paid $25 million a year, and he answers to the owners.
Yep.
So what happened with the sell the team campaign is, I believe what happened was that the owners in Pittsburgh and other teams that not necessarily were quote unquote investing in their team, or teams that were poor, were starting to yell it. And then they got worried that it was going to set a precedence. It was going to come to their city. It was going to affect their wallet. And at that point, they told Manfred, hey, handle this. Get him out of there. We don't want to deal with it. And I think that's what really ended up happening with regard to that. And then you had Tao and her negotiation. But to answer your question, yeah, I do think
you got to admit, though, she didn't treat Grant Manfred with a proper respect. Look at the whole fiasco with the All-Star game. Remember that, where she took her continuously tried to make it look like it was a Vogue photo shoot?
I know what you mean. And I don't know about you.
Let me double down on that, because someone's going to run away and say, what do you mean? So this is precisely what I mean, okay? And what happens is, in politics, there's some people try to dare you into saying something like, well, we're going to throw it into your face that, yeah, we're all women and we're not being serious, but we don't want you to point out, because if you do, we're going to say you're being sexist, okay? But then let's go with that, all right? You have the mayor of the city trying to get a new ballpark, I would think, built in her city, right? You want to give the commissioner of baseball comfort that the A's should remain in Oakland, right? So you want to show that you have the credibility, certainty, capacity to build a structure. So who do you bring? Well, you call the governor. See if the governor or the lieutenant governor, somebody who can push a legislative button at that level, can come to your meeting. You want to see if, well, of course, your city administrator works for you. So your city administrator should be there. Oh, and then, by the way, your project manager or economic development director, or both, right? That covers it. Who did Shing bring? She bring her director of communications and her chief of staff, all right? And then her project manager, Molly Rayburn, who doesn't even understand redevelopment, tax increment financing to begin with. All to sell something that the Athletics have rejected already. They just took it, repackaged it, and then presented it again. Yeah. Expecting a different answer?
Right.
I mean, what's the definition of this insanity but doing the same thing over and over again that's not getting you what you want, right?
That's exactly right.
Or as a friend of mine, Alberto Roca, used to say, he represented the Latino contractors when I worked for Oakland Mayor Elihu Harris. Zenny, if you like what you're getting, keep on doing what you're doing. Did we like what we were getting? No, we kept on doing what? Doing what we were doing and letting her do it. Yeah. And it's the worst performance by a mayor, not just of Oakland, any city.
Period. Yeah.
I've ever seen having to do with sports and getting a ballpark or stadium built. And yet the fans, the A's fans, were egging her on.
And she was treated she was looked at as a hero.
Yeah. A lot of them don't live in Oakland. They didn't care about Oakland.
Yeah, East Bay.
Put that out there, okay?
Danville, Pleasanton, Alamo, San Ramon, all affluent
Lake
neighborhoods.
Tahoe.
Stuff that look the opposite as Oakland and what they're so supposedly trying to represent.
Right. And they said they cared not, and the reason why they paid no attention to government, because they didn't live in Oakland. They did not care, but they knew they didn't care, but they were at least smart enough not to say it. All right. But everybody knows they didn't care. And so they were being the worst unit of everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And then so what happened was because they were in that position, they got played by Shang.
Yeah.
You know, they show up at City
played
Hall.
everybody.
Yeah, she played it. Well, almost everybody.
The fans,
Yeah.
media, almost.
She didn't play Seneca Scott, who wound up getting a recall.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
All right. She didn't play me. She pissed me off by having a meeting with me to learn about tax increment financing, enhanced infrastructure financing district legislation. Then refused to talk to me after that. So I said, fine, I'll tell the truth. She didn't even know what she was talking about. So no, I mean, she then she gets raided.
Where's her case at today?
It's been a quiet period. There hasn't been anything going on in terms of.
Yeah,
a lot of people think she's going to ultimately end up walking because they believe it was a political setup, and I think there's a lot of truth to that. Shang came in, and she played Donald Trump. If you take a look at everything that she did, it was especially when it comes to bringing in money for herself outside of government, it all plays the Trump playbook.
Yeah,
and she did it in a Democratic city.
Right.
All right, in a Democratic state.
Yes.
All right,
yeah, a big time Democrat state.
Right, and then calls herself a Democrat.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I mean, so
Yeah, I do feel that attention and everything that went on. I hurt the A's play. Yes, I do.
And then so coming back to the Athletics, we have a new president,
Mark Bedane.
Yes, yeah. My I say friend Mark Bedane. I say it like that because I don't know. Sometimes Mark doesn't exactly treat me as a friend like I'd like him to.
Okay.
I've always been a friend to Mark. Okay, Mark, I've always been a friend to you. This goes back to Raiders stuff, But even then, I remember nothing but good times, like when we beat the Chiefs on Thursday Night Football. I can go on and on and on. I'm really happy that Mark Bedane is the president of the Athletics, and he was the right pick at the right time. What do you think?
Yeah, he knows Vegas.
Yeah.
He knows Vegas. Vegas moves at a different. What I feel like and what I've learned over the last year, it moves at a different speed, and the people that are in it and how they talk and how they converse matter.
Now, when you say different speed, what do you mean? I mean, definitely faster, but
yeah, definitely faster. And I just don't think it's a BS type of place, and I think that's why Cavill's deal didn't work because behind the layers, I thought Cavill was pretty darn smart with a lot of his stuff. Problem with Cavill is he came off as a used car salesman a lot of the time, which is too bad because I thought he did good stuff.
You want to explain what you mean by that?
As far as Cavill, as far as how he came off, he didn't come off
car salesman comment. Yeah.
He didn't come off to me watching him and speak to the media. And when you saw him speak, he didn't come off as sincere. And that's again from somebody just watching it. But again, when you look in depth at for example, some of the interviews you had with him, I thought he was excellent. I thought he was very forthcoming. Yeah. I thought he was very knowledgeable. I thought he was awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
I think somebody told him to stop talking to Zenny because you're too forthcoming.
I thought he was great in those type of things. But when you see him in a different thing, when he was talking about the A's and this and that and tweeting the picture of the Vegas Knights and these certain things where to the mass public, he didn't come off good. And you could see that there was a different side. But when you sat one-on-one with him like you did, I thought he was very intelligent and very clear and very forthcoming.
Thank you.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. And I missed that, those conversations with him. And I think, I don't know I've had people tell me some things along the lines of what you're talking about. And I will say, heck, why not? I was at the corner, or in the middle. I was in the middle of Las Vegas Boulevard and what the heck was that? Hold on, something. Hold on, let me check.
Oh, okay.
Looks like something hit the right out here, and I thought, what was that? I don't think we're having anybody trying to break in or anything. No, we don't. No, I think it was just we have a lot of trees around us, and so we got sometimes things fall.
Gotcha.
There wasn't a tree. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
It was scary. Somebody knew we were on the air and said, "Hey, Zenny, take that." So okay. So anyway, but back to Kabul. What they said was that it was in the middle of the NFL draft in Las Vegas in 2022. It was draft day, early in the morning, and before the commissioner's press conference. And Steve Sisolak came, Stephen Hill, who's the economic czar of Las Vegas, as I call him. Big fan of Stephen Hill, and others. And then the commissioners of the Las Vegas Commission and Visitors Authority came, and then they recognized me. And Mark Davis came, and so Mark introduced me to one of the commissioners, and we started talking. And the conversation inevitably wound to the A's. And the ballpark, and this gentleman told me that Dave didn't know Las Vegas. Okay, that's what he told me. He says that Dave Cowell does not know Las Vegas, and so he did not know Las Vegas, and so and he said that he was making a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes. There wasn't enough time for me to elaborate with him what that was meant, but it wasn't. After that, I began to hear it more and more and more. And what happens is that Dave has a tendency to make promises he doesn't intend to keep. And I'm just saying that because it should be brought out there as a teaching moment for him to get better as a manager, because it hurt me as a person who likes Dave to see other people trash him the way that I know. I haven't met his wife personally, came close, but I know myself and other A's people who like Dave, A's A's brass people who like Dave, didn't like it, but also felt it was justified on their part. And I think if he had seen the signs earlier, it would have this whole thing would have taken a different path. I really believe that. But I think that he had a hard time with the fact that Oakland wasn't delivering. He didn't really specifically understand the techniques of the financing.
Yeah.
Okay. He didn't understand tax increment financing. He didn't understand that. I mean, for example, when he first announced that the project was $12 billion,
right?
He said it was economic impact. Okay. I texted him. I said, Dave, that is not the economic impact. All right. I said, that's the construction. Your economic impact's a different number. I said, plus, you're missing something. Did you calculate the throw off for tax increment financing?
See, here's my point. So the A's, not to interrupt you real quick, but and here's what bothers me about the A's a little bit, and this is to a perfect example from it, is they tiptoe and they penny pitch on so many little things. Why is somebody like him on a very complex issue? Why aren't they hiring somebody like you or somebody outside that knows this stuff? Because that was a big deal, how that was presented as a $12 billion project. That was a big deal. And that's what I mean. Ego. You know what I mean? And that's what bothers me a lot about the A's. Mm-hmm. And what they've done over the years is little things like that. Cavill had no business talking about that subject.
Right. He didn't. It's ego, and that's the problem with look. You're talking about. I think someone put this the best way regarding the National Football League, but I think it applies to Major League Baseball and large, expensive
Yeah.
sports franchises in general. You're talking about giant mom and pops, okay? It's like any mom and pop, you're dealing with storefront owners
Yeah.
feel like they know better,
Yeah.
and they don't want any corporate structure coming in, even though that's what they need um, to get it done. Look at what the NFL did in trying to literally engineer the return of the Rams to LA. They brought in Eric Grubman, and they had Eric Grubman there as a kind of a guy to be their nasty guy, to bring out the bad news and all this other stuff. Okay, that was the one time the NFL had this obvious corporate structure and approach. All right, um, but generally the owners like to do that, themselves, and so that was the situation. That was it. Can you hold on for 1 second, Booney?
Oh,
I
you
just
take
got to
your
check.
time.
Okay, hold on a second.
Your mic's off. Your mic's off.
Okay,
There
okay.
you go.
All right, so let me straighten this out real quick.
Take your time.
Let me get the right image file because I was trying to get this. It says A1, and I thought that was. Oh, you know what that was? That was the wrong one. Athletics. A is ballpark. Let's see if that wins. Bally's Las Vegas. There we go. I had the wrong. I had a photograph of. It wasn't a website, folks. What I had up there was I had a photo. I had a photograph of a maintenance job I was doing for my client. So, and it said A's. I thought A's. Oh, that's it. No, it was this one. It says Bally's. All right. So now we could talk about this. Hey, Booney. I'm going to take care of something real quick. 1 second. Okay.
Okay.
I'll be right back. All right. Let me All right, we're back, folks. Okay, so this beautiful construct, I think, has caused a great deal of controversy. Bunny laughs because, hey, Bunny, what do you think of the construct called Bally's Las Vegas?
You know, I like it. I mean, I don't know what there is not to like about it. You know, I think it looks good. It's obviously just renderings. It looks exciting. Uh, it looks a little too carnivalish. But you know, it's always too early to tell. You tell me. You're the expert.
I love it. I love it
Yeah, I do
because
too.
here's, I'll tell you the reason I love. I'll tell you one thing I don't love. I don't love that, and I do hope this changes. I don't love that the path to the ballpark from the street is literally blocked.
Okay.
In other words, there's no, and
I
from
see what you're saying.
yeah, from
There
urban
could be
design.
paths and stuff. I mean, that's like a lot of how Vegas is between the hotels. It's a lot of it's just little paths in between.
Oh, I get that, but my point is that I loved this boulevard within a boulevard where if you take a look at where you see where on the foreground you got this roundabout where the
Yes.
Valley sign is. Okay, I wanted to have all that taken out and then go um, straight. Hold on a second. Anyway, the pathway would be one long walkway that says, "Hey, look, come to the ballpark." And like mainstream USA, then you could go or mainstream, Main Street USA. You could go
Yeah.
either side and have them lined up like that, so that it's clear that Cinderella's castle is in the back, right? And that's where you want to go. So it's more like Disneyland, the Magic Kingdom. And I think they I don't think that they were thinking about that when they put this together. I honestly think that they were saying, hey, conceptually, what we're going to do is put in more activities and what is called in the sponsorship industry activations per square foot than any place in Las Vegas in its entire history. This is the most densely packed development I've ever seen promoted or proposed for Las Vegas. Denser than Fashion Mall, denser than anything I've ever seen. And will it make money? Heck yeah, it's going to make money.
Yeah.
Okay, unquestionably. But what will the downside is that it will take patrons from other places, like that would want to go there instead to do their shopping rather than someplace else. That's the downside of it. And they'll get a lot of people coming from the ballpark, and they'll get a whole new set of patrons who never came to Las Vegas for reasons having anything to do with baseball.
Sure.
And, right? And so they'll be able to gamble around there, do their lodging. As you can see, Bally's has not one but two hotel wings planned. This is going to be an incredible moneymaker beyond belief. I said, even before I saw this, that just based on the projections that they were offering up, I did just some reverse mathematical engineering. I figured out that they're looking at $700 million money in year one. $700 million. That's more than all but one, the Yankees organization has cleared in the 21st century, okay, on an annual basis. And so you're talking about your concern for the retention of players. Well, that problem will end here. It will come to a halt here. This will transform Las Vegas like nobody's business, and it's part of a sports district that includes the Raiders, and they go, guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Uh, we're going to have basketball at some point, and you could bet your bippies the basketball will be located within this district too. I'd be shocked if it wasn't.
Yeah, I
Not
agree.
even within that, okay, but I'm saying nearby. Like maybe,
Yeah,
you know,
they're talking about the Rio for the arena. Is that you think that's going to happen?
right now it's possible. I think if I were Stephen Hill, I would try to lure whoever wants to uh, build an NBA arena. I would try to lure them into the sports district. Why not? I mean, that's what it was established for. It wasn't set up to go, as I understand the boundaries. It wasn't up I-15 to the Rio, because that's where you're going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you want to have this synergistic sports district, sports entertainment district effect at a time when sports tourism is at its height. You know, that's what you want to have, and that's what this presents.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like it. And they're supposed to be open, they're saying, in March of 29.
But they'll start construction next year.
Yeah.
And I think it was genius, because I expected something that was just like the ballpark, you know, smooth and, you know, sleek, you know, and I thought, God, how are they going to do that in a hotel, right? And they just said, you know what? We're not.
Yeah, right.
We're not. We're
Right.
not.
Yeah. It looks good. It looks really, really good. I mean, things are moving along, man. It's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting.
Well, Las Vegas needs it because these tariffs are tearing them apart, man.
It is, huh?
Yeah. It's you've got Canadians that look, of the international visitors, the majority are from Canada and then Mexico. Canadians have all but stopped going to Las Vegas. What does that mean? That means that Las Vegas has lost, in terms of visitation, the equivalent of 6,800 rooms. Now, what hotel has 6,800 rooms? The MGM.
Sure.
Right? Every month, 6,800 rooms are taken off the rolls because Canadian bred tourists have elected to stay at home. One, for the cost, but really because of the president and his attitude and basically wanting to annex their country.
Right.
I mean, and all these play into the success of Las Vegas. People have always questioned, well, why are the A's going to Vegas? And, you know, the market is too small, but they forget about one thing. Vegas has more visitors than any place else in the United States. It's, you know, I can't, maybe in New York, it's huge. 40 million people a year visit Las Vegas, sometimes 42 million. That's
right.
No other. The Bay Area, the best the Bay Area can match was 22 million. And within that, you have to hope for Oakland to get some 8 million from that, right?
Yeah, hope. You hope.
And right.
That's a stretch.
Right. And let's not forget, and do you realize, I got to just break this up. Do you realize how much the loss of sports has impacted Oakland from an economic standpoint?
I don't. You tell me.
Lost 30, the Oakland Airport between 2022 and 2025 has lost 30% of its passenger volume.
Wow.
30. Yeah, 30%. 10% between 2022 and 2023, 1.6% between 2023 and 2024, and then a whopping 20% between 2024 and 2025. Okay? Yeah. I mean, if that's not, you know, holy shnikes, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
And has Oakland done anything, proposed anything to replace the $6 billion in sports organizations that's lost? No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's absolutely sick.
Yeah.
And what's going on? What's going on is the problem. You'll say, Zinni, why is this? Okay, here's why, folks. Because we have people in government, regardless of party, who don't understand that the connection between somebody being rich being able to afford to build a ballpark, but then that ballpark is of such cost and size that it has a tax revenue throw off. Now, someone's going to say, what about when the owner doesn't want to pay taxes? Well, then I say, you know what? That's when you have to present to that person. And so sometimes you have to do this. You have to say, okay, if you don't want to pay taxes that way, then we'll spread the cost. There are a lot of techniques. There are a lot of ways around that. And I say that for this reason, because that's the problem that Dave Cobble ran into with John Fisher.
Yeah.
John didn't want to pay a property tax. And so if you say I'm going to use tax increment financing, which is predicated on the use of property tax, and you got the guy that's supposed to pay the property tax and he doesn't want to pay a property tax, and the property tax is at just 1%.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. Right.
Then
Crazy up.
Well, but you have to be able to break it down to that person, how much they're saving, what their cost would be someplace else.
Right.
All right. And how you want to have a robust stream of tax revenue to make that financing work. All right. And no one did that with John Fisher. I don't have to have talked to John to know that didn't happen. I'm telling you, it just didn't happen.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
How are the A's going to do next year? And how do we catch your show, by the way?
So, like I said, cautiously optimistic, Zenny. And this is what I mean. 2024, we had a great second half of the year as well. And a lot of optimism going into 2025. And sure, the team's better. And going into next year that they were coming into this year. But again, when you're playing, games down the stretch that don't mean anything, when you're out of contention versus games that mean something, it's different. So cautiously optimistic. I think they're going to be a playoff team. I said that last year. We'll see. You're depending on a lot of young kids, right? Great prospects, unbelievable prospects, a lot of potential. But here's the thing with prospects, Zenny. It's exactly what they are. Prospects, right? They're not. They're on their way to be very, very proven Major League Baseball players, very good Major League Baseball players. We just need enough of them. And when you're depending on a lot of 22-year-olds to get that done, it's tough. But that's how the A's have gotten it done for a long, long time. They're going to be fun. They're going to be exciting. It's going to be a fun year. I'm glad the Vegas Stadium's going up to put the kind of the negative energy coming out of the Bay Area out of there. Hopefully these kids just concentrate and focus
Not entirely.
on baseball.
I love it. I wrote November 21st to 2020, 2021. I said, hey, look, you guys should go because the city of Oakland is not serious about establishing a tax increment financing zone for you.
Yeah. Right. But we're Monday through Friday in Nevada on Silver Sports Network and Cox Cable Channel 77, Digital Channel 5.2, and of course on YouTube. You could always catch those shows there as well. Cox Channel 77. So it's only in Nevada. You'll only get that in Nevada.
But on the internet, I can get it, even if I'm right, I guess, right?
You can't.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So Zenny, I haven't even seen a show at all that's been in Nevada that's been aired. I haven't seen one of them.
Huh. So basically they're taking your YouTube videos and putting them on television.
We got to post it into their whatever it may
platform.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was saying to Bunni we were just talking that way back in 2009, 2008 really, I met a gentleman named Art Thomas. I was covering the Democratic National Convention, all these YouTube videos. I think it was probably the only YouTuber to do as many. But at any rate, well, other than the people that came with me. And he wanted to use my videos, and I said no. So he came up with this idea for something called the Blog Report with Zenny62. He was with Colors TV, and we were on the Dish Network 9907, I believe it was. That's the wrong number. But at any rate, what I had to do was what you have to do now. But there was no platform to upload. I had to actually put these on a on a disc and have the disc FedEx to Florida.
Sure. Right. No, I hear you.
Yeah,
I hear
but it was
you.
the same idea. Yeah.
So, but I don't necessarily will have the same content. Last year I focused a lot on the move with regard to it.
Mhm.
So, for example, the video we did last year, I changed as far as the intro and some of the parts to it just to make it to their format. I changed it up, but I want them to know what happened with the move from an expert like you, so I would put that, both those episodes. Actually, your second one, 2 parts we did, is going up tomorrow. That's going to be aired tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
The first part aired yesterday, and the second part will air tomorrow.
So I'm going to show you something really quick. If you go to Google, and all you have to do is type Las Vegas vlogger in parentheses. Make sure you lock out the name Las Vegas vlogger. But I'll show you what comes up here. You're going to think this is really of note. Let me put it this way: share screen, and there is okay. So there's, whoops, that's not what I want here. Let me remove that, and then let me get this. Whoops, wrong one. All right, that was the one, and this is the one there. Okay, and then let me hide that, and here we are. Discuss with Las Vegas vlogger and all that. So you scroll down, but then hey, Zenny, right?
Yeah.
Las Vegas vlogger is Zenny Abraham. Okay. And then there's somebody named Slangin vlog, and there's me again, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then people also ask which YouTuber lives in Las Vegas. I do not. And then Las Vegas vlogger interviews, best Travel Ruby is there. There's Jessica Kovacs, Travel Ruby, all that. And then if you go to AI, which I think is really interesting, right here it says all. So you go to AI mode,
Mm-hmm.
and then it says this. Reads this. It says there are a number of prominent Las Vegas vloggers, and then you scroll down. It says Vegas with Shin, Travel Ruby, Norbert Jelly, Jacob's Life, Jaycation. They get All You Can Vegas, and then they have people who specialize in a certain niche and everything else. And so good Las Vegas vloggers to watch, and Shin and show all, and you can find all the different Las Vegas vloggers that are there, including me. And so,
Wow.
yeah. And so, but I had, let me see here. If I go back to all, yeah, wait a minute. That's what it reads. Okay. It says a Las Vegas vlogger is a content creator who makes videos about Las Vegas covering topics like food, hotels, entertainment, and their daily life in the city. Examples include Zenny Abraham of Zenny 62 Media. It says it right there in black and white.
That is great.
Yeah. See that? Isn't that, how about that for Google marketing, right?
That is pretty cool.
Okay. Boom. So, okay. then right? Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
Yeah. And then you scroll down, and then it reads more. It says, Zenny Abraham, a Las Vegas vlogger who covers events and news, is seen on X. Okay.
Is that right, huh?
That's what it says. But see, I told people, I made videos about this 3 times. I said, look, all right, I don't live in Las Vegas, but I talk about Las Vegas.
Sure.
I love Las Vegas. I started doing it in 2010 with CES. I've done it every year. And so the algorithm picks up all that content and says, wait a minute, boom, right? But I'm not better than the Stephen Campbells of the world, or Jacob, or Orat, or Norma Jelly, who I love, or Travel Ruby, or anybody else. They all live there. There's one guy, Jaycation, who I think flies in, and there's another one who's a real estate guy who's in the hospital. I hope he gets better. I think from exhaustion. JK stay in Vegas. Check his stuff out. Great vlogger, greater guy. At any rate, my point is that I can make some vlogs and help you get the word out, because it will be seen by Las Vegas.
Sure.
Las Vegas people who are interested in Las Vegas topics.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. How about that, huh?
That'd be amazing, man. Amazing.
Yeah.
That's
Bunni,
great.
we're on for almost an hour, and but I'm sure you are getting a little ready to go or whatever.
No, I'm okay.
Where are you? Where are you?
I'm in Peninsula, Bay Area.
Yes.
San Mateo. Always been here. Always been here. Giants territory. Yeah, I know. San Mateo is the Giants territory, man. That's how it is. All my friends, everyone I grew up with, all Giants fans. So,
wow.
But,
I can't say it like that. I mean, look, Larry Bear, longtime president of the Giants, is a friend of mine. So, and a loyal Golden Bear. I love Larry.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. But yeah, so it's interesting. They had the ballpark, them getting Oracle going, Pac Bell, whatever you want to call it, was, and they had the best player, arguably ever, playing in that. As
Barry.
Yeah, so that helped.
Barry Bonds.
Helped a lot. Yeah, and they were winning. These were too. Yeah. But the ballpark was everything. Yeah.
So, come on back, man.
I pray, Zenny. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. For everything you do, man. The knowledge, the teaching, the expertise. You're always available to talk. Thank you so much for everything you do, man.
And I want to thank you for being an expert on the A's, having a natural, fluid understanding of the team, what's going on with it, where it's going, having a willingness to basically talk to everybody. And I think there's some people out there who could learn a lot by paying attention to your style. And
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And maybe giving you some money along the way.
That's what it comes down to at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, right. But anyway, hey, I'm glad you're there, and looking forward to seeing you make it happen in Las Vegas. And
I appreciate you.
All right. Hey,
thank you,
stick
Zenny.
around. Hey, don't move a muscle. Nope. Stick around. Hey, everybody, thank you so much. We'll be back later. Subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube, and also subscribe to Locked On A's. And bookmark
at Locked On A's, yep.
And bookmark CESLasVegasNews.com. Did you see my? Wait a minute. You got to check this out. This is. I got to show you the site before we go. I am so proud of CES Las Vegas News. Here it is. Let me see if I can get it. Yeah, I can. Right here. Yeah, there it is. That's one of our bloggers, Eric Paginian. Has just posted his video, but when that happens, we've got news about Las Vegas. This is about something going on in Summerlin. Best restaurants, Hard Rock Vegas construction update, like we were just talking about, right?
Yeah.
Automatic from YouTube. I can like something, like I can go to YouTube right now. I can like something, okay, and put it up. Like I think I'll go to one of your Locked On A's. Locked On A's on Locked On Knees. Athletics. Yeah, Locked On Athletics. There it is. And you did something on the jackhammer, so I'll go there. And I'll like that.
Jackhammer, yeah, Jack Perkins.
Yeah, and within a few minutes, it'll be automatically right here.
Is that right?
Yeah. So we dial in content. So if you want to find out what's happening, the latest news in Las Vegas is from a video perspective, CES Las Vegas News. But then to be sure, we also have CES-related content that comes up. There just isn't a lot of it right now, but there will be. We have mixed in with news from our vloggers. This is like my mom and her 91st birthday, and then there's Save with Slash, Fights at Planet Hollywood, and everything else. So, and then this is endless. So if you want to find out about what's happening in Vegas, CES Las Vegas News, a combination of CES-related news and Las Vegas news, all in vlog form, automatically comes up every moment, every day. So yeah, there you go. So check it out. And hey, thank you, Jack, almost fruitarian. There you go. All right. All right. That ends this tree, everybody. Thank you. Don't move muscle, Bunny. I'll see ya. Oh, don't go anywhere. Okay. Yeah.